Hi, my name is Maureen Murenga from Kenya. I'm the founder and executive director of Lean On Me Foundation, where we support adolescent girls and young women living with HIV to access services and be retained on them.
Hello, my name is Jalise McCulloch, and I started Painting for Education back in 2011, and I support girls living with HIV to go to school through my art. So Maureen, we met back in 2011.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about what Lean On Me gets up to.
Well, Lean On Me started off as a support group of young women living with HIV, and slowly we started working with adolescents as well. And so from the support group, we started giving service delivery such as psychosocial support and supporting young women and adolescent girls living with HIV to access treatment, be retained on treatment, and adhere to the treatment so that we have better health outcomes. In the process of our work, we realized that beyond the psychosocial support we were giving, they had other deeper needs, such as education, such as economic empowerment, and therefore we thought we needed support to scale up this and actually give holistic support to the adolescent girls and young women.
Well, when I met you back in 2011, I was kind of new to this area, and at that meeting where we met in Nairobi, you introduced me to Nancy. And Nancy at that time, she was 14 and she lives in Kibera in Nairobi, and she wasn't in school. And so I found out from Maureen how much it would cost to actually send Nancy to school. And at that time, it was about 300, which is something that I could afford living here in Switzerland. So Nancy was my first, as I call her, daughter to send to school. And now she's 22 and she's completed her education along with some training in IT, as well as receiving her driving license. So I'm very proud of her. And so for me, she's a real example of how education can be completely beneficial. How do you think it's impacted these other girls, and how have we managed to grow this?
Education has actually impacted them in multifaceted ways. First of all, the self-esteem of the girls has really gone up. We have girls who would rarely speak in public because they were not sure they were fluent in the language that people were using apart from their mother tongue. But nowadays they are so confident and they are able to express themselves. They are assertive. They are able to ask and seek for services. So that self-confidence has also increased their ability to understand their treatment, understand their health condition, be adherent to the treatments they get, and they have better health outcomes. We also have seen a lot of leadership among these girls who we wouldn't have known if they could be leaders, but we have seen them become leaders. We have seen them become responsible people in the society, and I think those are results of education. If we didn't have that, then probably we would be telling a different story now.
So how do you select the girls then? What do you do to choose them?
We have lots and lots of girls in our which we reach out to as Lean On Me. So we do a situation and a baseline analysis of their situation. We know them, we know where they stay, we know who stays with them, we know their history, and so we give priority to the neediest of the needy. So we try and reach out to parents and guardians and look if they can co-support the education, but we have those that truly looking at their situation, they need 100% support. So we give priority to those that need 100% support, and then we support certain percentages or temporarily for others that have at least guardians who are able to take up or to contribute to a certain degree to their access to education. Traditionally, children living with HIV were not expected to live beyond 5 years. So we found that most families, most guardians and parents did not take their HIV positive children to school because they didn't think they would live long enough to benefit from education. But we see them now because we have treatment, they're virally suppressed, they're able to live as adults. And it is so bad to be an adult who is HIV positive without any form of economic empowerment. And so we decided that having this process of taking these girls to school will actually change their lives. And this broke the norm because we had bursaries that only provided school fees to clever, very clever children. Some of these children are not like the A% children, but they're children, if given an opportunity, then they're able to be something in future. So we also had other programs that were supporting HIV prevention. They didn't qualify because they're already HIV positive. So we really had this gap. We had nobody really interested in ensuring that even the HIV positive children and adolescents need equal opportunity. And Jelisi did it. So we have these girls getting an equal opportunity, very excited about it, very optimistic about their future. And this is what we want to see. We want to see more of this.
So last year I had the pleasure of travelling to Kisumu and to meeting the girls that I had been helping for a few years now. And of course, to me, education is just that as well. It isn't a one-off. I can't put one girl into school one year and tell her the next year that I haven't got the funds. So it's very important to have that sustainability in this work. So I was very fortunate to go out last year to meet the girls and to do painting activities with them. I actually then took their artwork back here to Switzerland and we had an exhibition based on their work. Maureen, how do you think the girls responded to me going to be with them?
I think it was a very, very emotional moment to them. They have always known that Jelly pays for their school fees. She buys their uniforms. She ensures they have sanitary towels and stuff like that. Those very intimate things for a girl. So they had never met you, and they didn't think they would meet you maybe in their lifetime, because where you live and where they live is quite far. So having come to visit them, spending time with them, painting with them was very emotional, and it was a very strong connection, because they now just don't talk about Jellies, but they talk about Mom Jellies. So it was a very emotional moment, and the painting helped a lot in them expressing how they felt, and having to express it in the form of a painting was very, very powerful. And I think when they were painting and expressing themselves in the images, they were also talking freely without feeling any form of insecurity. It was a safe space. So they were able to express how they feel about their health, how they feel about their lives, and we were able to capture a lot of things that will help in advocacy in terms of the service we deliver and how we shape the quality of care we give to them.
Well, for me it was a very, very privileged moment, and I certainly enjoyed meeting these young girls and actually getting into a little bit of their lives. I went to their families' homes, I went to their schools, and there's one particular girl who really I remember vividly, whose mother has a drink problem and who has suffered, I think, within her home context. You know her well.
Yes.
And she, in her school, in a classroom of 75, she is a real little powerhouse in the sense that the teacher has actually given her 25 children, in effect, to supervise under his guidance. And you can see this girl has potential, and that she is mature for her age and has an ability, a taste for life that I would never want to deny her of. And so I firmly believe that education to her is something that's essential to her being, and that she will go on to make the right choices in life and be able to make better decisions about her health because she's had that education. And that's what I feel is the importance around this work. But Maureen,
now, one thing about this girl is that when we enrolled her, she insisted that we had to enroll her brother as well, because both her and her brother were struggling. They were not going to school. And so we are glad that you made the exception for her brother, because this was something that was really, really affecting her. She really didn't want to have this opportunity and leave her brother behind. So her compassion is also very strong. And I'm glad you agreed to give the exception. And she's a very happy girl now.
Now, talking about boys, and I think we should, we're working, it's true, majority with girls, but we mustn't forget the boys. Yeah. As you know, Maureen, all too well, they are the ones that do suffer with adherence, just as much as the girls, if not sometimes more.
Yeah.
And so even though we have to prioritise and focus this ambition, I think that boys should always be remembered. And if we are really going to talk about gender, we have to speak about both genders.
Yes. And I think we have really grown to that. And in as much as we have fewer of them supporting like 100% to go to school, we also support partially and ensure that they benefit from the psychosocial support, little bits of school fees and uniforms and books here and there. And so we think that you're very right that the boy child too needs help.
So looking now quickly at this space, what else do you think needs to be done that we haven't and cannot do at the moment?
I think we have done very well in ensuring that families understand the importance of even the HIV positive children going to school, but we also need to look at the environment where we are taking them. We have some schools that are amazing and are doing well in supporting the HIV positive children to feel like equal pupils like the others, but we have other schools that are very stigmatizing, where teachers do not understand the miles we have made around HIV and that it's okay to have the children in the schools. So we are working, we think teachers need to be educated to understand the curriculum, to understand how to care for the HIV positive children, and even how they package their messaging in class, that it should not be stigmatizing. We also need to actually peruse and look further into the curriculum that were made many years ago that needs to be updated with what science has thus brought us with HIV. So I think there's a lot of work to be done in the learning institutions so that even as we send our children there, then they don't feel stigmatized.
So Maureen and I now have our plea, which is we want this to continue, we want this to grow. We have Maureen who knows the girls on the ground, who knows the terrain. I myself can bring another element from the sort of European view, but we want to go further and we want to do more. And I think together we can. This is the right environment in which to do it. We know who the children are. We know what the issues are. We know that we need to keep these girls in school and work on the gender issue. We know that we need help in further education, that we need to get teachers trained. We need to have materials to do that. So we want to grow this together, and we're at the moment where we believe this is the right time to do it. And so far, this whole endeavour has started with one girl, a few paintings, and slowly it has added up to being something a lot bigger. So we are looking to you now to support this initiative and to join us here with Lean On Me and Painting for an Education and support us to get this off the ground, because we know it can make a difference.
Sure. And I think we have so many kids still in the waiting list, and every penny counts. So please join us and make this a reality in our lifetime.
Thank you.